Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed yesterday's top 5 tips for being a better wedding photographer from Will. Today we are showing you a video on how to shoot the groom getting ready. This is a great sample of a series of videos that's in the course where Will walks you through every single moment of a typical wedding and he breaks it down. He talks about how to shoot it, what lens to use, so all the technical details, but also creatively, how to use the light, where to stand, how to compose your images, and lots more. And so this will give you a great example of how we try to inspire you with examples of our own photography so that you can become a better photographer yourself. So I'll pass it right over to Will.
Hey guys, so right here I have two weddings that I've shot most recently. I kind of like both of these weddings as examples, mostly because they're smaller weddings and chances are if you're starting out, this is the type of wedding you're going to be shooting. One of them's Phil's, as we can see here, and the other ones are my friends Donovan and Courtney. So I'm going to go through these and show you exact examples of what we're looking at. So let's start with groom prep. So here, we're going to go ahead and I'll let you know exactly up here in the left corner my f-stop and my shutter along with my ISO and what lens I was using. For this wedding, I had two cameras. I had two D800s. Actually, I had a D800 and a D810, both Nikons. And I was rocking them both. One of them had a 24-70, and I believe the other one had a little bit of a longer lens. I can go look at that later. But here we go. So, best thing to do for groom prep is to get there when they're prepping. Chances are they're going to be getting ready a little bit later than the bride, so you have a little bit of time to go kind of see what they're doing. Here I found Phil outside. He had just arrived. He was getting ready for the day, real excited. You can see one of his groomsmen are over here on the right. I am using a 24-70 because I don't know what the situation is going to call for. I'm using a higher shutter at a 16th of a second, or 1600. Mostly because I want to be able to capture stuff very quickly. And a lot of these weddings I shoot as wide open as I can, so that would require me to use a faster shutter. So 2.8 is what my lens is. I'm at a 52. You can see I'm just trying to get what I can. Let's just move on really quick. So here we go. Here's another one of the groomsmen. They're getting ready. I'm using a valuable light. You can see from the right side there's a window. I'm kind of exposing to that. You can see I dropped down a 200th of a shutter. I moved back to a 35 millimeter on our 24-70, staying at a 2.8, and I moved up to 800. Mostly because I just wanted to get all the light I could get in there so I can edit that later. But the big thing as far as composition and what I'm doing is you can see we're using the rule of thirds, but we're also trying to capture the moment. We're trying to see, look how much life and stuff is in here. Here he is, Sam, who's also a friend, putting on the hooks. He's getting ready to get dressed. Phil in the background putting final touches, and another groomsman brushing his teeth. We're in a hotel. We're not in a hotel room. We're in a room as part of the church. So I'm really just trying to get so many different levels of emotion and stuff, and I think we got here. That's really important in people getting ready. Here's our next photo. We are here with Phil. This is edited a little bit. Basically, Phil's putting on those cufflinks, and again, I'm using available light coming out of the window. And the big thing is here is I'm kind of letting it fall off. I've gotten up to a 4 mostly because I'm trying to get a little more things in focus because we're so close. I'm also trying to stop down so there's a little bit of fall off. You can see here on the darks, the shadows here. So it's a little more contrasty, a little more epic. You can see here I went back up to a 60th of a second because I wanted to get the light back in and get the faces in the background. Had I shot this photo with the same exposures as this photo, this all would have been dark and a little more dramatic. So you can see how I can switch from like a dramatic look very quickly by just adjusting the shutter to more of a like coverage journalistic photo here. So he's looking in a mirror here. You can see his groomsmen are looking on. That sequence it kind of continues to go. And the best thing is like you can kind of have fun with them. You can kind of jump in and be like, you kind of have to have fun, make them smile, make them laugh, maybe make fun of the guys. They tend to think that that's funny. And that's when you kind of get out the real smiles and who they are. I was in a small room, so you can see that I'm sticking to my 24-70 quite a bit in here. Even on these little close-ups, I kind of punched in a little bit just to get the details here. I think on retrospect, when I look at this shot, the video crew looks like they've already tapped him up here. I probably would have tried to avoid that in the first place. A big thing here is you want to get the details of the groomsmen, right? So these ties are specific to what they are showing as their wedding. And trust me, the bride and the groom are really going to like those details later on, especially if it's colors that they really want and they want to use later as like a memory or something like that. Here's the cufflinks. I'm not sure where Phil got his cufflinks from or if they meant anything to him. In the second wedding, I'm going to show you some more important cufflinks. But again, detail shots. I'm here at a 4.5. I think mostly because I was zoomed in. I think it could go to a 2.8, but again, a 60th of a second. I usually shoot in manual because I'm so used to changing everything, and sometimes that'll get me in trouble. I probably would have rather shot this at a 2.8 and shuttered up a little bit. But again, I got it. I got it working. The light meter was fine. It might be easier for you guys to shoot in aperture priority and stick it at a 2.8 or a 4, depending on your lens or whatnot, so that you get that like really cool cinematic look. A big thing that I want to emphasize, or I think things look great, and we'll show that more in the details, but this is a really good example. There's really only an inch, probably less than an inch in focus. So we want to create this really out of focus look, but this really in focus look, and that's what's going to make things look professional, make things look really cinematic and really good. And I think that's what's going to separate yourself from other photographers who may put everything in focus in a more traditional sense, or kind of like those Insta cameras, or even on your iPhone or a photo phone, everything's in focus. The great thing about a longer lens, if we shoot a 70 millimeter and a 4, we're really kind of achieving that look, and I think that's really important to making things look good. Here again is just more coverage of one of the groomsmen. He's like checking out. I probably wouldn't use all these photos in showing them a final selects, but trying to tell a story is a big deal here. So let's bounce over to this other wedding. This is Donovan. He's the other groom, and he was getting ready in the same sense. I kind of pulled him aside, did a couple of portrait shots of him, again using very available light. It was a little bit darker in his room than Phil's room. You can see I ISO'd up to 1,000. I'm still at a 2.8, still on my 24-70, and really just, you can see again, very little in focus, tons out of focus, right? And that's what makes it look very cinematic. Again, even worse. So this is 24-70, again, 2.8. I ISO'd up to 1,000 so I could achieve the 2.8. Was pushed down to a 180. Life on Mars, that's from my song. And it was really important for Donovan to kind of capture that, mostly because his wife got him these cufflinks because that song means a lot to them. And so he had to wear them in the wedding, and he has them forever, and we kind of covered it, and they love this shot. They can't express how much that he's so excited that we've kind of captured that, and he can kind of share that. So that was really great. Again, details is the same shot we did with Phil. You can see bow tie versus tie. These are really just standard detailed shots that you kind of want to grab in order to kind of show the details of the day. Again, it's the same thing, and if you were to look at these again, you'd be like, oh, you're doing the same thing over and over again. But remember, these couples are really only looking at their wedding, so this is the first time they're seeing it. Again, here's another portrait of Donovan. Same thing, very little in focus. Shot at a 2.8 again with my 24-70. My shutter went up a little bit, and I'm still at 1,000 ISO. The D800 handles that really well. They are big files, so I have some room, but you can tell here that it falls off very quickly right here, and that's because of that 2.8, and because we're kind of at a long 62 here. I know that his wife really loved this photo. Those are posed shots. I kind of put him in this area. Available light, again, I think they look fantastic. I took him out with his buddies. We went outside, and I just told them to stand around and tell jokes and kind of make each other laugh. And again, you just be a fly on the wall and you capture this. Shooting at a 400th of a second, which is really important because I got him. I captured it very quickly. Again, I'm at a 2.8 to make all this look really nice and soft. And this looks professional. To me, to my eye, this looks like a professional photo. Available light, 24-70, very easy to achieve, and very quickly. Again, they're having frays, they're having a good time. You want to capture this. I mean, look at this. Like, look how much emotion is in this photo that you can kind of tell what's going on. He's a little wary. They're trying to do the frays and stuff. Again, with the 400th per second, I didn't change anything here. I just captured the moment, saw it, turned, shot, autofocus. Very good. I did get the groomsman bow tie. You can see I stayed at that 2.8. I went a little bit up on my 24-70. You can see here I'm at 70. Oh, I guess I only went to 62 here. But again, here's that fall off, but in a closer manner. You can see like this is already out of focus and this is in focus. There's hardly anything in focus, and this looks very professional and very good detailed shot.